I'm just concerned to understand the source of this funding so that we are clear on where this money is going to come from. And I don't know, CS, when was the last time you used the road from Italy to Eldoret? I would want to know when was the last time you used that road, because it is in terrible shape. And when you introduce these trucks, I am sure it will get worse. We need to know what the plans are for that infrastructure and how it is going to be affected by this tracking. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yes, your response, you can also give your team to answer some of the questions if you feel they can adequately answer. You can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members, for those questions. We'll run through the questions very quickly, starting with the question from the first question from the Chair on what we are doing about the airstrips in Loki, in Dodwa, and there's a private airstrip which was being used by the contractors in Lokicha. I think listening to the plan and what we need to do to basically get this product to market, the country needs to do so much. Like I did say in my opening statement, if we were to harness this product in 2013, 2014, it's probable that we would not have been ready. The kind of investment that has gone into the various infrastructure between then and today is so significant, including what Senator Sifuna did ask, the 201 billion, which has I did enumerate in that table to show the various investments that have gone to the various sections of the corridors, including let's say Kitande, which is the Maitisa, just off Eldoret to Kitande, which is being rebuilt at a cost of 8 billion and funded by Africa Development Bank, and we just going to be starting that project in a very short while. So I'm aware that Eldoret Kitale is in very bad shape. We'll be getting a contractor shortly to site, and we'll clean up that section from that Maitisa all the way to Kitale. So there's been a lot of heavy investment.
Waziri, are you saying that portion has already been tendered for, or it is in the process?
It has been tendered for. We've got funding from Africa Development Bank. In fact, for context, we're just waiting for an obligation to award the contract, and work will start immediately. So a lot is happening, and a lot has happened. To an extent where maybe what I should have done is structured that table to show that table in page 8 to show what has been completed, though we are showing the status column, and what which are going to be started shortly, what which are ongoing. And you know, honorable members, from this presentation you realize that we are dealing with a monumental project for the country. When those airports in Loki, I think so much activity will shift to Turkana, to Dodwa, to Lokicha, to Kitale, to Eldoret. And therefore, the upgrade for the airports is not in question. We will have to do that. Then, I know there isn't a regular flights to Lodwa today. We need to clean up that airport in Lodwa and make it functional for daily flights almost immediately. The passage of the field development plan, if it sees the light of day, will mean we have to quickly implement and finalize the footprints in anticipation for December 2026. And therefore, a lot, including what I did capture, Cecilia, in what you did raise in with respect to the 3 field development plan. The challenges today present great opportunities, and therefore, like I did say in my page 22 of my presentation, I did allow me, Chair, to refer to a statement I did capture in page 22, which basically says it will boost commerce in the Northeast region and ensure that even remote communities like Turkana are better integrated into the national and regional economy. It's not in denial that so much infrastructure has not been done in that region. But you can imagine how much what will have to be done in a very short time in anticipation to get this product to market. So I want to acknowledge the past, the present, and what we'll see going into the future with a product like this getting to market. And therefore, if Parliament, having basically gone through the field development report, approves for the time that we have to get to market, we will then be coming to Parliament to really get the necessary financial support to do what we must do. The contractor will have to do what they have to do within the petroleum sharing contract obligation once this field development plan is approved. But obviously, if the case is otherwise, then priorities will basically agency that may not agree. But allow me to basically structure through the question very quickly. So the airports, Chair, under the question will work on those airports, including the private airport. We have proposed that it be taken over by Kenya Airports Authority and be managed by KAA. Dr. Mwakanga, how account is protected? Once the field development plan is approved, we'll get to another series of engagements in preparation to get to market. You can imagine it was not approved, then we cannot prepare and do what we must do. But to the extent that we get this approval as a government, what we then have to do is to seriously start engaging the county governments to do what we must do to manage the additional 600 trucks that will be on these roads crossing through the various counties. And so engagement, we just starting engagements through the approval process. Once approved, it means we will have to engage at a different level with all the counties where the product will be passing through to address the involvement of those counties, address the question of ensuring that the business opportunities that do come by, the issues of safety is engaged at a different level. But of interest, members, you know, sometimes when you see the road concerns and safety, it cuts across. It's a discipline issue. It is a road maintenance issue. People have had accidents because we fail to have signs to show there's a bump. So you hit a bump, and the bump is supposed to help you to slow down, kills you. So road signage, training, we are currently introducing a smart driving license, which I did mention. It will issue merits and demerits. It will have instant fine. We have talked through this with the judiciary, not just talk through it. We have a framework with the National Police Service and with the judiciary on how to implement this smart driving license with junction cameras that with today's technology we can watch how you are driving with telematics, with junction cameras, and issue points, merits or demerits. When you hit traffic lights, there are instant fines. We have worked on the framework. Of course, there will be still cases that we'll have to go to court. So there is so much that we are doing currently, not just because of this field development plan, but in the ordinary course of business. Don't forget that we still today have 2,000 trucks crossing any point per day. So out of 600, we should be addressing the challenge of today. But obviously, with an instant addition of 200, it exacerbates the problem, and we have to address that very quickly. So, Senator Mbatana, we will certainly, as we approve this field development plan, and I will really engage at a different level to ensure that all the concerns raised are addressed, including the road infrastructures that are currently being built, and that have to be finished almost immediately. I'm happy members to report that with the payments of the pending bills to date up to December 2025, there is no reason why any contractor is not on the road today where there is a contract, a running contract. And I'll be meeting with the contractors next week to basically script them on fulfilling the obligations under the various agreements we have with them, ensure that they deliver the construction on time. We will accelerate where there is need for acceleration. We did securitize Sifuna 28% of RMLF, only 7 shillings out of the 25. So we still have a fairly good headroom for maintenance. We are not being careless. If we securitize everything, how do we otherwise maintain our roads? So we've only securitized 7 shillings out of the 25. We still have the 18 shillings. The law allows us to set aside up to 50%. And I think the wisdom of those who crafted the law and allowed up to 50% to raise additional funds is something that we need to explore and ensure that we don't have pending bills, we don't have contractors abandoning work and raising interest on certificates at 12 and 14% when we could go to market, issue a bond at a cost of about 8% and get the contractors and get the roads working for us. So we'll be prudent, we'll work very closely through this kind of engagements to ensure that we all appreciate what we are doing together. With respect to the question from, I think Cecilia, the opportunities, I think it's time to really liberate the opportunities as opposed to looking at challenges or not having roads. We'll shift from where we've been building roads and start building roads in Turkana to leverage on this product. Whether the Baringo, Kapedo, Nakuru corridor will be cheaper will really depend on, do we start investing on a road that we build and finish in 3 years, yet we need to get the product to market in 1 year. So we'll start with the infrastructure that is available immediately because we need to get to market. And then look at the most effective route that needs to be built. Do we build roads for purpose of transporting oil product to Mombasa, or do we leverage on option 2, which takes us closer to the rail, or do we go to option 3, which is the Lancet corridor? This is one thing that we'll work on together, but to get to market immediately, we'll basically leverage on the corridors which have been built, and happy to know that a lot has been done. For those of us who have lately traveled from Kitale to Nandapal or Nakatok, I don't know, when in Kenya we love to say Nakatok, but when you say that on the other side, you have to talk about Nandapal. So for those of us who have traveled that route, the route has been built, it's a class A road, and it will carry the kind of weights. And of course, we have got the traffic accident measures for that corridor. So much more of what we have seen in the last 3 years in that region will happen with a very high multiplicity.
Maybe I was saying that because this is a question that was in all the 9 meetings that we had, the shorter route came up. I've had you that we need to concentrate on how we get a program within a year instead of embarking on putting up a road that will take us 3 years. But what are the plans that tomorrow when we will have an opportunity to go back, we tell them yes, for now we cannot, but this is a government plan for the shorter route?
We looked at the unit cost of transporting a ton of petroleum products by road in terms of cost allocation. How much does it cost to transport a ton of this product per kilometer? And to the extent that transportation is not a significant cost in the cost allocation, it will still make sense that we can save this money and invest what we are earning to basically build new corridors. You know, honorable members, when we come to Parliament and you give us 60 billion per year to build roads. You did an allocation of 60 billion on account of the total collection, the GDP of the country. How much can we be allocated? When GDP of a country grows, we get more money. When we leverage on this oil product and get more money, we get money on roads. So obviously, it will become critical to look at Baringo, Kapedo, and Nakuru to an extent that we can allocate more resources for building road infrastructure. And to the extent that the revenue side, you know, many times we say, can you build this road? But we don't say where the revenue coming from. If these are revenue streams that will support us to build Baringo, Kapedo, and Nakuru, we should build immediately. And we'll work on the economics and report back. But I do see, yes, there's no reason why we should use a longer route if we can build a shorter route to the extent that we have some money to do that. Senator Veronica, the cost scenarios I just talked to the unit costing of transporting products, and yes, I agree, we can get the shorter routes immediately, why not? But why we are adopting the routes that are available to us today, because we must get to market. If this project was not bankable, to the extent that if you use the current routes, which are longer, to market, you will expense, the expense will be will outright the cost will be so high, then nobody will basically implement this project. So to the extent that there is a bottom line and there is a share of revenue in line with production sharing contract, that will be earned by the contractor and that will be earned by the government. I think it will make sense when we look at the arithmetic to start with the roads that are available today, as we look at the shorter routes and the options of the railway. So it's a bankability issue, and we can look at the cost allocation scenarios to be able to appreciate that yes, it's viable to start using the routes or the corridors that are available as we look at better options that can give us better returns, and we'll do that because it's business. On road safety members, I've said we are able to do so much, and we should not just do it because we are getting an additional 600 trucks. We are adding so many vehicles on our roads today, and we're just in the process of finalizing is I've considered some new regulations on drunk and driving. You know, last time we had a problem because there was a legal challenge on those alcohol law, which was not legally supported, and the court ruling basically put aside. We've considered the need for inspection of all vehicles that are on our roads. When we are developed economies today, a vehicle which is beyond 7 years because of pollution is not licensed to be on the road. We need to inspect all our vehicles, and to be able to do this, we'll be licensing. We are working on a framework, fairly advanced, where inspection can be done in various towns by private licensed inspectors. And therefore, you know, most of the accidents are because of refrigerators, most of the accidents is because of the tire pass. We are not inspecting our vehicles. The discipline from the driver to the need for inspection, you know, currently we don't inspect the private motor vehicles. The regulations will now require that all vehicles be inspected, and so that we don't subject somebody in Homa Bay to travel to Kisumu, or somebody in Bombay to travel all the way to Kisumu for inspection. Will be opening up private inspectors who are licensed by NTSA to inspect vehicles probably in every county headquarters, and that 600 million shillings which is required for government to set up an inspection center can be done by the private sector, and therefore reduce the accidents which would be controlled into having more discipline, employing technology on smart driving license and so on and so forth. So we'll pay more attention on the road safety because we lose so much. This has been costed to what it costs GDP loss to the country when we lose breadwinners on the road and the loss to the economy because of accidents. So we are working on that. On the concern of Elisha, you raised the question of sales and tariff enforced by various counties. Like I said again, we have a framework and we are working through the various engagement mechanisms with the county governments to ensure that we don't unnecessarily accelerate the cost of doing business, and therefore there's a framework that is fairly advanced and will be ensured that there is a seamless framework across all the counties with respect to this. Because don't forget that any cost inherent in business and can be captured will basically be borne and will reduce the share of the profit that will otherwise come to government. So we work on that. Subject to approval, we get into a phase when we discuss and agree on most of these areas. Let me touch on the question from Aramat Reron Mozambique. Starting next month, we will be deploying 12 guns on the CRBC section. This is the Rironi to Gilgil, and another 12 guns from Gilgil to Mozambique. We'll be deploying like 12 subcontractors within the same contractor. We are getting them to put 12 teams. So we'll see 12 construction sites between Rironi to Gilgil, Kaliandus. That's where they split the road, and there's a company called Shandong who is picking up from Gilgil with 12 guns going through Nakuru all the way to Mozambique. And I want to promise to deliver this road as a ministry on behalf of by June 2027. In fact, Rironi, Naivasha want to open for traffic by August this year. Will be done. Rironi to Naivasha will open for traffic by August. We'll have finished that section. And then we will go to the Maimai side. This is Rironi, Maimai, Naivasha. We'll open the upper side, A8, and then we go to A8 South and work on that. June 2027, June next year, the whole corridor will be done. We are using 24 grants, like 24 companies. Within the two companies, we have basically pushed that contractual requirement so that we finish this road. And don't forget, we're not just building a road. Kenyans have suffered. You know, it's an impossible corridor. Yes. And these are roads servicing Uganda, Rwanda, all the way to DRC. They will have come by trade. It's like we are not in business in the country. So we finish that road maybe next year.
Please, members, you know we're in a political meeting. We are not in a political rally.
I just want the CS to clarify that that road is not going to be free like the current road. It's a toll road. So those shouting Tuta here should give us a break.
Let's give the CS to finish. Otherwise, when we go to site use, we are not here for site use. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Chair. Let me finish.
Sifuna and those mentioned sometimes are out of order. Please proceed.
Yeah, you must appreciate that.
I said you are those who are talking about terms.
No, they are the ones who started, but there's a clarification that the CS has to give.
Yeah.
That it is a toll road. It's not a free road.
And I'm going to
Yeah, you must appreciate that as a region we have suffered because of that road.
Yes.
And so we are looking forward to that, yes.
Yes.
So please, order members. I think you should have levels.
Thank you.
You take a break, sir.
Thank you, the people of that region have suffered, including Sifuna. It's a toll road, I confirm, but we will ensure that there are alternative routes. There's a road out of Kejabe going down escarpment. It's called Mau Mau 1A. We are finishing that road. We have just finished Ngong, Suswa. as an alternative road. It is open for traffic, that's why you can see it. You can use it. So we also have alternative routes to ensure that those who may choose not to pay are bought fairly, adequately. But of course, you know, the economics of being able to move fast, save fuel, reduce pollution, and so on and so forth. We'll be also running some education. And I'm sure we all use the expressway today to buy in the convenience. On the early oil pilot scheme, the ESOP that was implemented, I think we learned lessons, and we've come to Parliament severally around and the lessons learned. I'm sure even as Parliament approves this, consider and approves this field development plan, the lessons learned in ESOPs are something to drill down and make sure they're captured properly. The Lapsed corridor is on. Lapsed is a development corridor. It is not just building a project. We want to leverage and as Anaka State, the port of Lamu to support South Sudan, to support Ethiopia. And you know, most of the development in Kenya is along the Mombasa-Nairobi-Kisumu corridor because of what comes along transport. Some of the towns like Nigeria developed because it was a stopping point. So for us, Lapsed must be built, and we continue to lobby our brothers in South Sudan, Ethiopia, and we provide leadership to ensure that Lapsed is built and open a new corridor for the country. So we focus, we spend a lot of time working on this corridor. If maybe on a separate session we can talk about what's happening with Lapsed, and there's so much that we are doing to organize the Lapsed corridor. I think the kind of answer Senator Sifuna's question of we're leveraging on the current infrastructure that has been built. And the investment so far, I think, I don't know whether it is 200 million, you say Sifuna, it is 200 billion that has gone into that corridor. So much has been done, and like I said, subject to approval of this field development plan, it means we will have to put more resources. As government, the contractor, we have to put more resources to open up this corridor. I did raise the issue of securitization. We have only done 28%. And obviously, I'm sure most of you are witnesses on what we are able to do today in ensuring contractors are delivering on their part of the contract as we deliver on our part of the contract. And like I say, we will not be careless to over-securitize. Even the law does not allow us to securitize more than 50%. Kitale, Eldoret, I did say from my surveyor, we are getting a contractor in a short while to start and finish that section. We have an investment of 8 billion, and we clean up the Leseru Kitale road, and there is one already at Kitale going to Northwest, which is ongoing. I think it's about 12% is a contract already for that section. I think that Chairman, the cost containment, the cost component of unit costing for transporting on a longer route is not because it's an option that's available today, but we can work together on the better profitable option of shorter routes as we look at the Kapelu Nakuru route. Thank you.
Really, the question that the principal has not very clear, I'll give it brief interest, is are there budgetary provisions within the 2026-27 to address? And I'm saying this because I have cabinet passed the budget consideration, maybe should be tabled soon for the floor of the House. Are there budgetary considerations to address some of these, particularly for the first phase?
Let me pick up that very quickly before I will. Chairman, we
will give them another round.
In the cabinet of yesterday, we did pass the budget policy statement, which captures some of these significant flagship projects, including how we're going to leverage and get this product to market. But more importantly, you know, with this recycling of assets, and we did pass the National infrastructure fund, and I think it's coming back to the House for a bill for a law to be passed as opposed to being worked through the GOE as a company, as a liability, limited liability company for purpose of more accountability. So much needs to be put on infrastructure to open up the country. You can imagine when you have an asset like that and then you think about going to market after 3-4 years because there is no road. So we need to prepare our infrastructure. Most of the proceeds of recycled assets will go into infrastructure in roads, water, airports, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, bankable. And bankable in the aspect that if you are building a toll road, you are tolling Loki, Kitale to Eldoret. The pay as you use should be able to replenish or repay the money from National Infrastructure Fund. And so we'll be seeking to really allocate adequate resources as we go together through the budget of 2026-27 to support the piece of infrastructure. Ordinarily, we are fairly ready, Chairman. When you interrogate the document that I've given you and you see the amount of money which has gone to building roads in this corridor, we are actually ready. The only challenge is the distance and the internal road network. And we need to distinguish what the government needs to be and what the concessionaire of the oil field needs to be. So, again, a lot will depend on whether approval for the, can you imagine, for example, if field development plan was not approved and therefore we're not getting the product to market, why should we then spend money to develop the oil fields when the field development plan is not approved and therefore we cannot get to market? So, subject to, I think this approval of the field development plan is necessary. Luckily, it's a 1 month timeline within Parliament, and once approved, it means then we have to rejig and relook at our budget and confirm that we have enough resources to do the last mile of what must be done to get the product to market.
Let's go for the second round. We get the supplementaries from Sifuna. Then we have Beatrice, Lomanen, Kalwale, and then we have Tengara, and then Elisha. That is supplementary.
Thank you, Chair. Waziri, you have spoken a lot about causes of accidents, but you have not addressed the question of poor road designs and project delivery itself. Secondly, just clarify to me that the plan is to use the toll road for the, what is it called, for the oil trucking, or will they be using those alternative roads that you spoke about? And the Waziri, as much as the people have suffered from Western, I am one of those people. And we also deserve free roads. Nobody pays to drive from Nairobi to Nyeri. Why should the people of Western pay to drive from Nairobi to Western?
Okay, thank you, Chair. For Waziri, my concern is on the issue of land compensation. All through when we were meeting stakeholders, the issue of compensation of land came up. I know NLC will do their part. Waziri is not only asked to do siting, survey, evaluation and all that. As a ministry, we must give us the confidence that there will be money to compensate our people for the lands that will be used. Because that then brings conflict in the process of implementation. And lastly, Waziri, you mentioned the Eldoret logistical node. I'm seeing a lot of very little inference in your documentation on the urban development department, because with the urbanization and the surge of people that will be moving towards those areas, we will be dealing with a lot of urban challenges: congestion, pollution, waste, liquid waste, or solid waste. And I thought it would be important that planning department, the urban department, get into a lot of preparation even as this comes in. And just to mention, on the joint committee that you referred to, other than the urban development, which of course is domiciled in your ministry, we need to work with the county governments together because of a lot of those parking, a lot of zoning, so that we get things right from the word go. Mine were not questions, but more or less of comments and addition.
Thank you, Chair. I have a comment, Chair. Maybe to the question. I wanted to inform the guests. I travel almost every week from this road from Lokicha, Kitale, Kapangura to Eldoret. And maybe the way I see the road, Chair, and the construction that is taking place, we will not meet the target. I'm sure that unless we do miracles. And tell me the Chair and the CS, you need to supervise. Especially the road between Sebit to Kitale. The trucks, there are already trucks there that are transporting the need from the trigger, the need for cement. Those ones have destroyed, they have made the road worse than the way it was. And then from Marich to Lokicha, how long will it take to be constructed? How long? Yeah, had to be. Because I have an experience with the road that you constructed from Chirchir to Nakode, it took almost 3 years. I don't know which one, this one, how long will it really take, Chair? Then secondly, how are you prepared, Chair, in trucking of this oil, the road between Lokicha and Katongura, the issue of insecurity? How are you prepared? Who have we been collaborated? Have we collaborated with the CS president or whatever to make sure the trucks you are talking about are secure, where the personnel, where the roads? Yeah, Chair.
Next is, was it? No, Alwal and then Kenyan.
Thank you. Minister, why are we here today? We are here because the Cabinet Secretary for the Line Ministry convinced Cabinet, which gave approval, and now you want Parliament to ratify. That's why we're here. So, we would like you to convince us so that when we ratify, the public is assured that we are not talking about, sorry to use the word, hot air. I'm glad that you've assured this committee that you're committed to seeing the first delivery of oil by the end of this year. So that it doesn't sound like a feel-good statement that we are best suited at making at public rallies. Are you persuaded, as now the minister in charge of this project of infrastructure development, are you persuaded that it is doable? In your presentation, Minister, you've been forced to segment into 19 areas of investment and development. And when you go through the matrix, of all those 19, it's only the Southern Bypass, which was built a long time ago by Mike Valley, that is operational, and 2 other areas. In view of that, what right that you want us to give, because we have no problem in ratifying this as Parliament, what rider should we give? That will you achieve this at the end of this year, at the end of 2027, or the time we reach Singapore? We've got to be clear. There's no point of making feel-good statements. You have seen my colleagues have cheered and clapped. It's not because they were supporting, it's because you relieved our tension. If you ever drove to Western during Christmas, the pressure was so much that the head of state was forced to promise us when he was launching that next Christmas will not go through the same headache. So, Minister, tell us now as Parliament, when are you completing this infrastructure development, which is the real elephant in the room? Everything else is still good.
Thank you, Chair. I first start by appreciating CS Chirchir because I love it very fast. We were doing energy, now it's have been in transport forever. And that's great and commendable. During the public participation all along, two things have worked significantly. Congestion of crowding on our roads and accidents. And what was quoted most is from Chumbi all the way to Mayakani. Then from Lemuru all the way to all the borders. We might not be able to build those roads by the time we start transporting. So my question is, in other countries, you find heavy traffic being given an opening attempts to him when he can operate as we have other operators on not operating. That means in China, if I can put, because I was there, trucks have time to operate and other vehicles have time to operate. And this is because if you are behind a truck moving at 20 kilometers per hour for an hour, you tend to try to overtake them and actually occurs. And actually, that's very, very common. Then, number two, yeah, we are doing Rironi all the way to Mozambique. Currently, that road from Rironi to Naivasha, it is not used by heavy commercial to a certain level. Not that we are doing. Is it made in a manner where it can also accommodate heavy commercials so that it will reach Mutarapwa? That's another one. Then comes another thing which I thought is the parkings which we have. For me, I would call them health break, because it is out of fatigue or maybe burnout where now you also get accident. Are we able to collaborate with other stakeholders so that these health breaks are real health breaks with the operation box, maybe a medic facility or something of that nature? Thank you, Chair.
Members, we want to finish, yes. We will clear so
just a reminder to what my colleague has just said.
Yes, I'm giving you. So I just want to say we have Gonzirai and then we have sorry. We'll start with Elisha, we go to Gonzirai, and then we have my brother.
Madam, I was already
Lina. So the last one. So that because we still have the CS environment and she has a flight to catch later in the evening. So that will be Karibu Elisha.
Thank you, Chair. But yes, there's a question I asked you didn't clarify. I just want clarity. I said that if you read FDB on page 238, there's a mention of the polluter pays principle. That clarification. Then, Second last one was, I wanted to know distance on this Lokicha, Marich, Baringo, Nairobi, Mombasa, the kilometers, so that it informs me that because of the distance, this is why this economically makes sense for us to go that direction. Then when we were in Eldoret, Kenya Pipeline, I was impressed by the railways. There's a railway line that transports products to Uganda. Why can't we duplicate if that has been a success? Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Waziri, what I'm just trying to seek from you is just an assurance, because the presentation is very nice. And I can just see that there is a lot of goodwill on your side. But my worry is that, just imagine from Maderas up to Majiatumbi. Wherever there's a breakdown of the way bridge at Mariakani, we always spend about 24 hours. So if the journey from Mombasa to Nairobi is 7 hours, now it will be 16 hours. So you can just imagine, we could be protecting the one sector here, and one sector is actually suffering. So what kind of assurance? Because you see, sometimes we are given to understand that the breakdown of the way bridge at Mariakani is just being done deliberately because of certain reasons. So unless we get certain assurances that whatever the case, at least instead of us actually going on the low side, we are going to increase whatever that is in Mariakani, so that at least our passage can just be very small. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. Waziri, my question is just simple. I just want a clarification or a point of information. Waziri, I was in the team that listed Lamu Port. And when you look at the investment government put there, is huge. The expectation on the people of Lamu was that that particular project is going to help them. They were complaining that they gave up their land with the hope that now Lamu, with this particular project, the Chirchir oil, is going to uplift the economy. But now from the presentation and what we have, is that the activity is going to be centered in Mombasa. Because Lamu, the port of Lamu is still under your locate. What plan does the ministry have to ensure that that particular project of the Lamu port now does not, is not actually forgotten, so that there is no activity that goes on? Because when you are there, it's like it has very minimum activity. Thank you.
Allow me so that we will, once you answer the question, I think we'll just be winding up. Allow Commissioner Mawade briefly, Mawade, and Vice Chair Kisan, and a few, maybe you can take this, Waziri. We have spoken about what the polluter thing, but you can imagine how prepared are you a truck maybe going down and then all the way spilling water into a river that goes to a dam, and that dam goes to other places. So how prepared are you? Because our barabaras, they are just into some rivers. You can imagine a truck going down, and maybe how prepared are you on that? And also the one last thing is about, I think this one you gave us an answer, the cost of, I think that is also answered. During heavy rains also is something that is related. I'm told during heavy rains the Kitale Barabara is usually very bad. So up to Kitale, Kailuk to Lokita. So what plans do you have for that? We have guys, and then we have
Chair, CS, when we were in Kitale town is a very small town surrounded by government land. I don't know whether the CEO of Kenya Railways have gone to, because we had issues with the railways land. there is the prison's land and ADC. So basically, even the expansion of the road within Kitale is an issue. So I don't know if you have had engagement as a cabinet to see if some of the government land within Kitale could be seated. You know, the prison doesn't have to be there. We can move the prison out of the town. And the Kenya Railways land has been invaded by squatters, and they have invested there, and there is nothing that the railways have done themselves. So there's a big land issue that is likely to arise within Kitale town. Yeah, the railway station. I know that I believe the railway station you're talking about in phase 2 is to move the oil from that railway station that would be maybe built within Kitale to Mombasa. So maybe we can discuss around there.
Thank you, Chair. Waziri, you talked about the congestion of motorbikes, motorcycles in around the, let's say, Eldoret, and Chirchir to Eldoret, and all the way to Southern Bypass. And you said there is need to do something. You did not say that we'll have maybe motorbike lanes or motorcycle lanes, so we didn't give a specific. What will you do specifically about the motorbikes to reduce the number of fatalities on the road? On the issue of phase 2, you talk in your document, it says that the railway should be ready by the time they get to 50,000 barrels per day, and you don't talk about when. Well, my question is when will the railway be ready to be able to handle phase 2? It would be nice for you to put a date and a timeline on that. On the issue of spillage, in case you have an accident, you will put 2 stations along Lokcha and the other one, I believe, in Eldoret. What about the response? Have you considered putting a response team within the Nairobi area, and maybe the next one, maybe around Voi, Makindu area? It would be nice to spread them such that in case there's an emergency, you don't have to rely on somebody come from Eldoret to go and handle a spillage somewhere on Southern Bypass. And my last point is the issue of dwelling has been mentioned, but I put it that there's need to dwell Chumbi all the way to Mariakani, or at least Makindu, because of the roads are already congested. Mombasa is already congested. Here we are adding an addition of 600 trucks on top of whatever we have on there. And their speed is not normally very fast, and they tend to be a little bit slower than the other vehicles. Thanks, Chair.
David, it's your time, but for the questions which you have already given an answer, be very brief on those ones, and then for the other, you can
thank you, Chairman. Again, let's go straight to Sifuna's concern poor road design, and what are we doing about the toll roads to ensure that. Let me specifically go. I think on the concern of design of roads, we continue improving our design of the road. Like you may be aware that we have redesigned the Nithi Bridge and contracted on site to basically address that challenge area where we lost so many lives. And sometimes design is done on the expediency of budgets. And so we'll continue to look at various points which are probably what we normally call black spots, because they are difficult for drivers to navigate the corners, because the weight and inertia of the vehicle carries you on a straight line, and sometimes you get out of the road. So we continue to review points where they would have been identified as having design challenges, and we're doing that with speed. Honorable members, on the concern of, I think we should also see, let me use expressway as an example of a concession road and whether it is making money. When you do an investment, you invest on a cost that you would expect the revenue to be much higher to give you a bottom line. In most cases, an investor will be looking or we allow under PPP a return on investment of 10% to make sure that you are also not exploiting Kenyans. So if we give you an investment, we allow you to invest, we don't allow you to scale. And so we look, almost PPP are on open book. So we look at your cost, we allow you a return on your equity of about 10%. And if the investment does not have traffic and the return is below 10%, 5%, no investor is willing to come in. So then when we say, can we do on this road? Investors will come and do a traffic study, and if we don't have enough traffic, there is no willing investor to put money, because why would I invest where I'm not getting return? I'd rather leave my money in the bank and get 7% on a fixed deposit. So it's important, neighbors, that even as we see the opportunity of putting more trucks on our roads, it is an opportunity to make our roads bankable. It's an opportunity to concession our roads, and whether we're tolling them, it will make sense to invest in a road that is profitable. That we will be able to build all our roads in Kenya. What we can do as cabinet leaders, members of parliament, is roads which have got high traffic can be tolled. And the money that would otherwise go to the toll roads can go to build our rural roads which must be open to get products to market. Whereas they don't have enough traffic, we have agricultural produce, we have got goods to go to market. But we can't connect to the main highway, which could be tolled because it can make money, because you can't get out of the farms. So what we'll be doing is tolling most of the major highways so that the user pays, pay as you use, as opposed to everybody paying through the road maintenance levy. So we go to a user pay rather than everybody pay. And therefore, I'm just basically getting to the scheme of ensuring that even as we put more of these trucks in our roads, it makes business sense to make our roads bankable, and therefore we can build our roads. But I think I've answered the question on the poor road design. They are able to continue reviewing that. Beatrice, thank you for the comments. The land compensation is something that we are working very closely with the National Land Commission. Sometimes, including coming here late, we have a breakfast meeting every Wednesday, the National Land Commission attends to address the question of stone roads. And one of the biggest challenges in the land compensation is succession documents, titling of land. Sometimes you are passing through, the road is passing through a corner where there are no titles. And so there is money to be paid to the community, but who do you pay? There is money to be paid, and by the time the surveys were done, somebody has passed road, succession has not been done. All these things take time in court. So we are working very closely with the Ministry of Land and the National Land Commission. For example, under the privatization, we did pay some 16 billion to the National Land Commission to compensate those people around MATIANG'I, Tuapa, some place in Marwa, Sagana, and that money, a bit of it has not been paid today because of those challenges. So we work very closely to make sure, one, we have the necessary resources for compensation, but more importantly, we accelerate the other aspects, including succession issues. On the question about urbanization, I think we should see that as an opportunity. It's really presenting an opportunity rather than a challenge for those of us who are in the different spaces in government to develop those opportunities, business opportunities, job creation, and so on and so forth. And I agree with you, we need to work continuously with the county governments in cooperating to make sure that all these joint committees do function. The nominated question, Mheshimiwa Loki Chirchir, the speed of construction, I did indicate in my statement that I was going to meet contractors. I'm not going to have a cup of tea with them. There are contractors we are very disappointed with. We need to get them to work. We have now done our part. We have paid the bills. and there is no reason why the speed on some of the roads, including a road like this, which is fully funded, is moving at a very slow pace rather. So we are working on that, and I want to confirm that I'll be on top of that. The security issues, we worked with my colleagues last week, 2 weeks ago. We had several meetings with my colleague Murkomen and Sifuna to address the whole of Africa corridor. There was that challenge of 16th of December in EDWIN, and we have rallied everybody, the SOG, NPS, the military, to ensure that we do provide adequate security and deal with that corridor. So equally, because of the economic value of what we are looking at, Lokicha, Katibuya, we will address the security challenge and then make sure that it doesn't become an impediment. My brother Kalwale, Mheshimiwa, feel good, no. We need to deliver infrastructure. If infrastructure is not functioning, a country can stop. And I want to confirm, in terms of time to deliver, it will not be a feel-good issue. We have paid our bills. We are paying bills and contractors and abandoned work and gone home. Some of them closed and left Kenya. They have come back. We have paid our bills. We will get them to deliver. I have promised June 2027 we will deliver the Ronimo Summit. And I'll be on top of that. I want to promise that. Again, it's a business opportunity. You can imagine if we're supposed to be moving 200 trucks of products down to Mombasa, another 200 are returning, and the road is not working for us. The whole thing will be abandoned. We tried the ESOP, and it was a loss-making thing, and we didn't know. I mean, we could have gone to market much earlier. So let me give you my undertaking that I'll be on top of this to ensure that this piece of infrastructure are delivered. It wouldn't make any sense to let the investor to drill so many wells to get all the oil, and then there's no road to take the product to market. So we look at the various segment sections that we need to finalize and close on those very quickly on a very, very critical timeline. Kinara, Chumvi, Mariakani, and the dueling, to combine the two questions. I think there's a dueling proposal we are looking at from Eva Strong. Not just Mariakani, Chumvi, we are building that bridge, which is given away Chumvi, we are building that bridge. But the whole corridor from Mombasa to Nairobi needs to be dual, and that is fairly advanced. We are looking at the bankability of the project by this proponent, and we'll work on that. Road Summit, I've talked to the deadlines we must basically, but more importantly, again from Kinara, why are we getting all our trucks to go through the Mutarakwa, the Veroni section? We designed this road for the PS. I've got an engineer in my left here, PS. Road Summit, we designed the road so that the trucks can now go on the A8 and on the A8 South. One PS, you have helped me to answer that question. Yes, we have done that.
I confirm that the designs are in place for both A8 and A8 South. And that is what is being implemented at the moment.
To enable the big trucks to use the road?
Yes, because we will have driving lanes in areas that will require support, and that has been looked into both heavy and also light vehicles.
And we also institutionalize help resting places to ensure that the drivers are not driving for 24 hours, and when there was an accident, we blame them, and they do not have a place to park their vehicle to take a rest with sanitary with facilities and health breaks, a place to take a meal and so on and so forth. Alicia, the political pace, I think, is a question of implementation. It is not so much, the law is there, just a question of enforcement. We need to enforce that so that these are licensed, these are big businesses. In fact, sometimes these big businesses come with serious discipline. They will probably even help us to discipline their own users. But it's just a question of implementation. The law is very clear, and it's a question of implementation. So what we really need to do is to look at the enforcer, probably April, to ensure that we force the concern of implementation of any accident that may happen and cause pollution, and the fact that the liability should really be addressed. I think I've raised considered question on MATIANG'I. Changamwe is currently funded by DIB. It's very advanced and be on that corridor tomorrow and that section of the road. That bridge which was hanging up there for 6-7 years, Wajombo Bridge, is open for traffic. It's open to traffic now. I'll be the challenge with the Synergy. Synergy has not given us the corridor to build the spirals, and I'm going to be addressing that tomorrow so that you drive to Mombasa and when you reach Wajombo Bridge, you are held there for 2 hours because there's 9 hours. But that bridge has now been opened to traffic. Again, courtesy of the Secretary, we were able to pay the 600 million to the project affected person, Synergy, who has given us easement, and we have built that bridge and it is open to traffic today. Lamu Port, Mulanya did indicate, is a big opportunity for Kenya. It's a deep water, 17-18 meter port. We are now seeing a lot of be there tomorrow or Thursday. We are seeing shipping lines going to Lamu. We are getting a second one, a major company going to Lamu from tomorrow. But more importantly, it is not road infrastructure. We brought some fertilizer for Ethiopia through Lamu. And you know, it took 6 months to evacuate the fertilizer because of the road network. So we are working with the road network, the whole model interconnectivity from rail, ports to sea and air to make sure that. But for us as a country, Lamu Port and the Lakes corridor is important, and we have to do it because it is strategic. It opens up our economy. Mawade, the issue of, you know, border is a great opportunity for the youth who earn their daily bread, and we need to support them. So we'll be really looking at opportunities. I do know that there was a private bill in the House which required us to introduce NTs, non-motorized lanes, which required us to do cycling lanes, and I think that's the way to go. When you see the proliferation of border, it is a way of transport, quick transport. We all use them every day. We need to respect them. We need to support them. I think 99 out of 100 border riders are great Kenyans in great business and their livings, and we should seldomly condemn them rather than support them. And therefore, as we provide for budget to continue building our roads, we'll be considering lanes for border. We'll be considering more training and to support these nascent businesses to really come. Kitale is an opportunity when we have land being held by government, because I don't think it's a challenge to get land to be able to get through Kitale on this, let's say, Kitale road. You have to talk to this engineer Kimeli. What have you done around Kitale to ensure that we don't have a challenge traversing through Kitale connecting to the other side of the going towards West Pokot category?
I think the CS, you have done quite a lot. Besides now for the road security between Kitale and Northwest. But by passing the town, we are not getting in the town. We are going through the Catholic church, the parish, so that we are with the town. But more importantly, that we have rolled all the way to Atisi as we move towards Independence, and that has been taken care of. And even the design for the same Kitale, from the junction to Buye, we are rolling all the way to be able to connect the other people. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't, if I have left any unanswered questions, it's not because intentional, I've just been scribbling very fast. Like I say, Mombasa, Nairobi, when we did the concession of that road, there was, we've given, sorry. Yeah, when we initially planned to do Mombasa, Nairobi, we've given exclusivity to one contractor. I think that lapsed, and we're working quickly without mistakes of speed of constructing that kind of thing. And I think PPP Directorate have guided accordingly, and we are working very quickly to open up the Nairobi-Mombasa corridor, and that will really open up Jumbi, Mariakani, and the rest of the corridor, because this is the northern corridor that doesn't just have Nairobi, Nakuru, it services the other countries, and therefore we pay attention to that. Honorable members, if I have any question I'm trying to skim through, it's not intentional. Allow us, like I said, we cooperate, we'll come to the House anytime you call us to make any clarifications, and we continue to really seek your support us in appropriating advancement budgets to support this program. Thank you, sir.
Sifuna, we thank you at least for the responses that you've given us. Part of the issues that we really want you to look at is about the enforcement of some of these issues that you've spoken about and the timelines that you've given to be able to achieve this very important issue. I think we are done. Asante sana Waziri. We will be, in case of any other clarification, the Secretary will reach out to your office so that we can get some clarification before we finish. Asante sana. Honorable members, I think to simama hapa kidogo. For the housekeeping. I just want to understand.
Amaliza mkutano. Mkutano umeisha.
Okay, I'm told that the Deputy Director, Committee Services, the Senate, where are you? There you are, Karibu sana. We'll give you an opportunity when you go to the next session. Honorable members, I think we want to be left, I don't know, is it Ariana House or the Secretary can be there? Honorable members, it is now 9 minutes to 1. Please allow us to adjourn just for 10 minutes and we are back so that we can proceed with the Minister Environment. We will, members to turn up in Jekidoko with
How are you? Long time? Last time you were alive in London? Just 10 minutes and then we come up. Can we go out? I am 10 minutes, then we come back. I told the hapa tuendelee. Basi ambia wewe wasile ndio. Tuendelee. Haya, no problem.
Nataka kurudisha hii maji na
Hey, we're not going to lie. I'm going to get it. Somebody's ordered to let away
respect your bias. Mazee hapo mbele ni dark.
Can you make a
Lakini sauti yangu
So I think members, we can start because it looks it's now 1 o'clock and the CS has a flight at 5, so she needs to leave here maybe in the next 30 minutes. Tuanze na maombi. Almighty God, we beseech you to be all to your fund and favor and blessings as your servants whom you've been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good, honorable members, we need to adopt the agenda. One member to propose and the second one to...
Chair, I propose.
Senator Beatrice proposes, Elisha seconds. Then let's go to the next. We need to know who is in the room. We start from members present. Those who are out will introduce themselves when they come in. We start from the member far right, from where we sit.
Chairman, my name is Honorable Gonzerai, MP Kinango, Kwale County. I'm a member of the Committee on Energy.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cecilia Asinyeningiti Issue, the County MP for Turkana, a member of this committee, National Assembly.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Dr. Danson Mungatana, a member of the Senate Energy Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and welcome CS Beatrice Ogola, Senator, a member of this committee.
Chair and CS Elisha Odhiambo, the MP for Game, and a member of this committee.
James Omenen, Senator Turkana County, member of the Committee of Senate.
Good, Galwale, on that side.
My name is Charles Kimose, MP Hamisi, member of the Committee, National Assembly.
Doctor, welcome. We are not many. Even the doctor you are hearing called Mugatana, he just happened an accident the other day. Going to avoid that.
Good, Alamat.
Good afternoon. My name is Salamanka Naramat, MP Narok East, Narok County, a Vice Chairman in the National Assembly Energy Committee.
My name is William Kisang, Senator from Elgeyo County, the Vice Chair of the Senate Committee and the co-chair in this particular joint committee.
Sana, karibu sana waziri. Naitwa Gikaria David, nawakilisha Nakuru Town Mashariki, kaunti ya Nakuru, na mimi ndio na mwenyekiti wa kamati ya KAU, bunge la taifa.
Yes, Secretariat, just a few of you, the top. Oh, you have
thank you, Chairs. My name is Geoffrey Mulanya, MP Nambale, and a member of the Energy Committee in the National Assembly.
Good, Director.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, my name is Boniface Lenairoshi, Deputy Director, Community Services in the Senate. Thank you.
Christine and Fred, the two of you only, introduce yourselves because you are seated in front.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Frederick Otieno, Clerk Energy Committee, National Assembly.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dr. Sagini, Energy Committee of the Senate.
The CS, we have two teams, members in the House. We have the CS, Deborah, and her team, and then we also have control of budget. The reason why we invited the two to come in, it's because we didn't want to do introduction twice. And control of budget, she has waited for a long time, and Deborah, she was here and she left for some another engagement, and she has requested that she has a flight at 5. If control of budget you allow, you can give her the first take. No, introduce yourself first, and then we'll ask that question. CS, yourself and your team, and then control of budget.
Thank you, Chair. So I'll start from my extreme right.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, my name is Dr. Mamo Mamo, Director General NEMA. Thank you.
Honorable Chairs, members, my name is Titus Me from NEMA Compliance Directorate.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, my name is Joseph Macau, NEMA, the head of licensing. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm Deborah Barasa, CS for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry.
Good. Control the budget, yourself and your team.
Thank you, Chair. I'll also start from
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mark Koech. I'm the Deputy Director, Parliamentary Liaison.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Dr. Brian Motier. I'm the Director, Legal Services, Office of the Control of Budget.
Good afternoon, Chair and honorable members. My name is Rod Nyomari. I'm the Parliamentary Liaison Officer for the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Patrick Kamore, Deputy Director, Budget Implementation Office of the Control Budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Theodora Uchichi. I'm the Personal Assistant to the Control of Budget and the Assistant Director, Budget Implementation. And finally, Chair and honorable members, I'm FCPA Dr. Margaret Nyakango, the Control of Budget. Thank you.
Good. Because of the request by CS, let's give her the first take, and then how much time do you need?
Yeah, half an hour is enough.
Including answering questions. Then be brief. Proceed. Members, I think we have the response on our files. She can take us through.
So also there is Emma and Mary from the legal office NEMA. Thank you. So this is the ministerial report on the stakeholder engagement on the field development plan and production sharing contracts for blocks T6 and T7 in South Lokicha Basin, Turkana County. The clerks of the National Assembly and Senate in their joint letter reference number NA Senate Joint Core /2026/031 dated 3rd February 2026 requested the CS Environment, Climate Change and Forestry for a meeting to appraise the Joint Committee on the Field Development Plan and the associated production sharing contracts, and to provide specific information on the following key issues. Number one, to provide the status of the environmental and social impact assessment approvals for the FDP and its associated infrastructure. And secondly, to outline the decommissioning and site restoration framework proposed for the project, including provision for financing and long-term environmental monitoring. And thirdly, to outline how the Ministry and NEMA intend to address public health and safety risks associated with oil production and transportation, including potential oil spills and other environmental risks. Honorable Chair and members, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry and NEMA jointly discharged the state constitutional obligation under Article 42, 69 and 70 of the Constitution of Kenya to secure the right to a clean and healthy environment for all. We undertake this by providing integrated policy leadership, coordination, regulation, and enforcement for sustainable development. NEMA has institutionalized the coordinated environmental governance, including the use of environmental impact assessment as a co-preventive regulatory tool to screen, assess, license, and monitor proposed developments, ensure the environmental risks are identified and mitigate upfront, promote public participation, and balance socio-economic development with environmental protection for present and future generations. To this extent, since the discovery of oil in the South Lokicha Basin at Ngamia 1 exploration well in Block 10BB back in 2012, the ministry has been supervising the oil exploration activities, the early oil projects, and now the proposed upstream oil development project. The status report, as pertains environmental and social impact assessment for the FDB and its associated infrastructure,